Imagine you're looking at a balancing scale with everything you do for other people on one side and everything you do for yourself on the other side. If it isn't balanced, maybe it's time to spend a little more time on you. And therapy is a great place to start. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online who can help you find that balance and stick to it. Visit BetterHelp.com/positive to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/positive.
Woo. I'm just seeing Mike Malone's comments after. He said when he was asked about it, I think it's crazy that Nikola got a technical foul. He's going to get the ball and some fans holding it like he wants to be a part of the game. Reporter says that fan was the owner of the Suns, and Malone's response is, I don't give a blank, which is, to me, accurate. I love it. Man, they better not pop Jokic. We're still waiting on that.
There's no chance they'll suspend him for this.
Yeah. I mean, it took Draymond kicking a dude in the jewels to get a one game, which is far worse than this. So hopefully, cooler heads prevail. Again, I'm on the fence on whether the Suns, owner should show up in a sling to the next game or to work today, or if he should be like, don't suspend him for that. And it was partly my fault too. I don't know. I don't know what the better, from an outsider's perspective, it's like, do the right thing and tell him not to suspend him. But if I'm a Suns fan, I'm like, yeah, come in a leg cast. Like, let's go. Let's do the right thing here. Let's get through this series. I don't know. We'll watch for that news. Wichita State baseball, disappointing weekend. Two close ones to Houston. Down in Houston, they fall, and then the third game is canceled. So now they sit in the standings from first to third. We wondered what it would take for East Carolina, who's probably going to go on a tear here. But now they're 2 games back of Houston and a game and a half back, I believe it is, of East Carolina in the AAC standings. And left on the schedule still those 6 conference games. So there's time for movement here. And then they get their final midweek game against Oral Roberts, which is actually their best RPI game remaining. That one's tomorrow night. But a disappointing weekend for the Shocker baseball team, who had found ways to win so many close ones lately. They couldn't get 2 close ones against Houston, and they don't get the chance at the third.
Yeah, that's rough. Not the way that you wanted that weekend series to go for Shocker baseball. They had a ton of momentum going into this weekend series, and playing a team like Houston that you got to get the wins against if you want to try to win a league title. Not the way that you wanted it to go, and then of course kind of adding insult to injury, not being able to play the final game in that series on Sunday. So disappointing. They've got to bounce back from this. They now find themselves kind of on the outside looking in as far as winning a league championship. They can still obviously do it, but they're gonna have to win at a pretty large clip here moving forward.
Yeah, and look, I think the one thing the baseball team has shown us is when they get into the tournament, they're going to have a puncher's chance. They've got good enough pitching to do that, and that may end up being what we get to, and that's okay too. That gives us excitement. Conference tournament for Wichita State softball begins this week. They'll play the winner of Tulsa-Houston on Friday. Wichita State softball absolutely needs to win this conference tournament. They may not anymore have that. That loss to Kansas is going to hurt. How badly, we don't know. They're going to be a postseason team one way or the other. I don't know how likely hosting a regional still is. I'm not sure. I think we have Saul this week. Did we have Saul last week or do we have him this week? We can ask him.
We have him this week, yeah.
Yeah, we'll ask him the latest on that and what he thinks about that. That'll be good timing because it'll go right into the conference tournament. And so we'll get the latest on that, but certainly it's one that they want to win for a billion reasons. And then the NCAA regionals, wherever they're played, begin next weekend on the 19th. So we'll see on that. But, it's interesting. They've got time to prepare. I think they're going to have a nice tournament here. I think they'll have plenty of motivation. They'll be mad about the Kansas game, and Shocker softball will just finish things up here before we get them ready for the postseason.
Yeah, they've got, quite a bit of opportunity in front of them, right? I mean, kind of right on that bubble to be able to host a regional. That's the way that it's been for the last several weeks, right? And so really they hold the power in their hands. If they continue to win at the clip that we've seen them do that, I don't know. Again, I think that you've looked at it more recently than I have as far as their prospects of hosting a regional or not. So I don't know if that is still a likely chance or not. But regardless of that, I know that getting into postseason play for this softball squad, they've shown this season they can beat the top opponents in the country. They did that with Oklahoma State twice, both at home and on the road. So they've got that opportunity to do that in the postseason, and I think that you feel more confident about the likelihood of them doing that than you have had in seasons past. So, of course, postseason knocking on the doorstep right now. We'll see how it goes.
Good luck to both. I'm excited about this softball tournament. I'm really excited. I mean, this is maybe new. I'm more excited to get through like the conference tournaments. Like, all right, it's there, but it's almost like it's in the way, right? Like it's just kind of in the way right now. Let's get to the.
I mean, what do you think it takes, for the conference tournament? Like, what do you think the Shockers have to do? Do they have to win the American tournament to host a regional? For the chance to
host a regional? Yeah, I think so. But I don't know, and I still don't know if that's enough now. We'll see. We'll talk to Kevin Saul about it. I'm not sure, and maybe some other things need to happen with some of the other teams, most notably Oklahoma State, Arkansas. I mean, Oklahoma's in no danger, but they have wins, 2 over Oklahoma State, 1 over Arkansas. So you never know. We'll see. I'm not sure, and it would be really cool for the fans. But the other thing is for the fans, if they end up in Stillwater, Shocker fans are going to be able to go to that. And hopefully there are tickets available for them to do that. All right, you sent me this, Tommy, as we were talking about it. I guess Ishbia has made his decision on whether he, really goes all in on the flop and, tries to get Jokic, suspended. We're joking about this. I don't know if this was never an option, just, whatever. But it sounds like he's going to do what's the right thing and say, don't suspend this guy.
Yeah, Ishbia got on Twitter and said, great win for the Suns last night and an amazing series so far. That should be and is the only story. Suspending or fining anyone over last night's incident would not be right. I have a lot of respect for Jokic and don't want to see anything like that. Excited for Game 5. Go Suns. I would imagine that puts it to bed right there. I don't think Adam Silver is going to do anything with this. He shouldn't. I don't think there should be any kind of punishment for Jokic. I'm glad to see Ishbia responding in that way.
Yeah, me too. It is the right thing. The other would have been really, really funny, though. And maybe he could still pull that off. Like, after, you could probably appease your like, after Jokic, maybe the decision's made, maybe just for fun, show up in a cast anyway. Just to
wear
rib
neck brace
him
to
a little bit.
the
Yeah,
arena.
neck brace.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Just to mess with him. Because then you're still messing with him, right? You're getting in the psychology of it. It is. Did you see this story, Tommy? I don't think it's that big a deal, but it's interesting. It has to do with Andrew Luck. So Colts owner Jim Irsay came out and, basically said Luck's off limits. The Colts own his rights if he ever decides to come back into the league. And Irsay's basically saying that's tampering. You don't get to communicate with Andrew Luck. This is interesting. The Colts just made their decision to go with Anthony Richardson. I don't think Andrew Luck's coming back to play football based on everything that he said and we've read and everything else. But why do you think it's necessary for Irsay to come out and do this? Do you think there's any chance? I mean, the only thing that would make me is like, he's only coming out to say this because he feels like there's a chance, but I've never felt like there was a chance Luck was going to come back.
No. Why is this even a story? I mean, Andrew Luck retired 4 years ago.
Well, because Washington reportedly inquired about him last year.
Okay, great. He didn't play for him. Andrew Luck, I don't think, has any desire to play in the NFL ever again. I really don't. I mean, he retired early. Caught everybody off guard when he did, and then the likelihood of him coming back has diminished year after year after year that he's been gone. That's great. I don't have a problem, honestly, with Washington asking the question, and then I don't have a problem with the Colts saying, no, I mean, technically he's our property. And then I don't have a problem with Andrew Luck being like, no, I'm not going to play. I mean, I feel like this is a big nothing.
Well, it's not a problem. It's just the only thing that's interesting, and Irsay's a wild card anyway. But like the only why else would he feel the need to go out there unless something happened where he thought this might be a possibility?
Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Andrew Luck's not coming back. I mean, he's done. He's done. And so I don't have a problem with, Jim Irsay is a businessman, right? I mean, he paid a contract to Andrew Luck. And
I don't have a
even
problem with
Andrew
Irsay
Luck,
saying it either. I'm not saying I
Yeah,
have
I
a
don't have an
problem
issue,
with Irsay by any means.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's curious that this needed to happen in the first place because I never really paid too much attention. I just never paid too much attention to the fact that Luck might come back. And
He's
if
not
he
coming
did,
back.
I
Not
don't think
coming
so
back.
either. I don't think so either. It's a very, very strange little headline to see this morning as I'm, just sort of going through things. I'm like, wait, what? Andrew Luck? Why is this in the news? Tommy, you sent me this story too. I'm going to fully admit I don't really understand it, but I guess there's some confusion and pushback from the Chiefs playing in Germany and who they play, and I don't know. I think you got to be a diehard to be into this story. I don't fully understand how this works, but I guess like who they play is in question to some degree.
Yeah, so of course it's been, long discussed and long talked about that the Chiefs will be playing in Germany, right? Of course, now we're at the point of the season or the off season where the league is planning out the schedule and, putting different teams in different places. There's been a lot of speculation on who the Chiefs might play in Germany. We know that, they are going to be giving up a home game to be able to play in Germany this season. And there are a list of potential opponents that the Chiefs could be facing off in that game in Germany. Apparently, Kansas City, this is according to Peter King, by the way. He was writing in the Football Morning in America column for NBC. He is saying that he's being told that Kansas City does not want to play Chicago overseas. They've got the Bears on the schedule for next season. According to Peter King, the Chiefs do not want to play the Bears in Germany. I'm not sure why. I don't really know what the reasoning behind that is. And then there was also speculation that Carolina could be an opponent, not for this coming season, but for the next season. And there's some pushback on that too, because apparently Carolina thinks that maybe they don't want to have Patrick Mahomes not go to Carolina and play because of the ticket sales there. They would rather keep Patrick Mahomes and have them play in Carolina as opposed to playing in Germany. So there's a lot of moving parts to this. But as it stands right now, according to Peter King, there might be some pushback on who the Chiefs play in Germany.
Number one, if you're a Chiefs fan, who cares who you play? You'll play anybody over there. I suppose that there is some value for the Chiefs in trying to get that game, if you're going to have to give up the home game, to be like a really high-quality opponent, right? Like, let's play Buffalo. If we can't play them at Arrowhead, let's play them in Germany, right?
Well, but that's the other thing, too. That's the other part of the reporting from Peter King.
But you're giving up that home game.
Well, not only that, but you're putting them in an early window. Keep in mind, you play in Germany, that game's going to start at 9 o'clock in the morning. So why would the league want the Chiefs to play the Bills or the Bengals or the Eagles? All three of those teams are on their schedule at 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning when the ratings are not going to be very high for that time slot. Why wouldn't you want to put them in prime time?
Oh, I know the league would rather see the Chiefs play a not good team over there. Like, I get that part of it. I just can't understand why the Chiefs don't want to play the Bears over there. Because to me, if you've got to give up a home game and you have your pick, you want it to be the home game against what you perceive as the worst team you'll play. That's what doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, if they're like next level strategizing that on short rest and a long trip, maybe the hardest thing to defend would be Justin Fields running all over the place. I mean, that to me is maybe. Like, no, there's no way. Like, maybe. What are we doing here? I just don't understand this story. And I don't really care. I think sometimes, like, I'm more of a, you just play your schedule, right? Like, if you're the Chiefs, the schedule is not going to be the reason you do or don't win a Super Bowl. Just play your schedule. Who cares, right? You're the best team. You're the best team. Go play the schedule. Doesn't really matter. I mean, it matters. It matters whether you have home field advantage and all those things. But if you're the Chiefs, you think you're the best team anyway. You'll go play in a parking lot. Like, you just go play. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I guess
also,
the hardest
by
thing
the
for
way,
this story for me is I just don't understand this. I don't understand what's at stake here.
And I don't know the reasoning as to why allegedly the Chiefs have requested to not play the Bears overseas. I don't know. I do understand Carolina's perspective, though,
Well, sure.
in 2024, because I think this is like the only time in almost a decade that Patrick Mahomes will actually travel to play the Panthers. So why would you want to play that, give up that home game, move it overseas? Because you know people are going to show up in Carolina to watch Patrick Mahomes play.
Totally agree. And if you're the NFL, you want a nice spotlight over there in Germany, and just because you're trying to grow the game there. So from the NFL's perspective, I get it. I just don't understand all the ins and outs and strategies of why it matters, and then why you wouldn't want to play potentially the worst game on your schedule over there would be my thing. And, the Bears aren't going to be good yet. Not good enough yet to compete with the Chiefs. So go play them over there if you're going to have to give up a home game. But I don't know. When schedules come out soon, right? Like is that this week?
Yeah, and that was the other point of the reporting, was that Peter King is reporting that while the NFL plans to release the schedule on Thursday, there might be a delay. So we might not see it this week. It might be more like next week.
It's crazy when your NFL team's good that like this is going to get run. Like this story's going to get a lot of run, and it's like, what are we doing here? Like, are we that obsessed? We might need to take a look at our lives if like this is what we're losing sleep about this week. But I'm right there with you. I'm not criticizing anybody. I'm the same way. The NFL, the ways it finds to dominate the headlines is something else. It's a unique skill that is the reason they're the top team. All right, let's give some tickets away here before we take a break. We'll come back. I want to spend a little more time with the Chris Kleiman news if you're just joining us on the show. By the way, thanks for joining us on the video stream, Facebook, YouTube, on the KFH pages. You can find us on the Sports Daily Twitter page also, and, of course, to everybody listening. Let's go to the IHOP hotline right now. Fast X tickets, sneak preview at Boulevard Town West Theaters next Thursday. We'll give away another pair. 869-1240. Jad will get us a winner. We'll come back. Kleiman. Big contract, K-State football, big spotlight. We'll talk about it next on Sports Daily.